There are a couple interesting stories about your tenure at Iowa. The first one deals with your first practice. You've just gotten there. You've gone through recruiting, the summer, the fall. You're ready to start practice. Practice always starts on October 15th, and this October 15th happens to be a Saturday. The athletic director asks you, or
it was one of the guys, and I think my thought is it was someone in sports information that asked me.
Asked you, they're playing Penn State in football. Is it okay if people who are there early can come by and watch practice? Your response was yes.
Yeah, and so much to my amazement, when I come out of the tunnel onto the floor, the arena's packed to capacity, and so then I knew, hey, you got your work cut out for you, kid, because
you're not in Pullman anymore.
I'm not in Pullman anymore, And so the place was packed. We had a nice, talented team. The people were very receptive and that.
But you walk out and 15,000 people are watching guys stretch.
Yeah, the arena actually set more than 15, if I'm not mistaken in that. But it was a great atmosphere. It was a wonderful way to be welcomed to the University of Iowa basketball. It was the first overt sign as to what the support was going to be like there. Every game was sold out. Every game was on television and radio. The University of Iowa was the NFL, the Major League Baseball, NBA franchise. That was the pro franchise of the state. And the people were immensely supportive. I couldn't have asked for better support than I got up and down in the state of Iowa. And the one thing when I ended up leaving that I made a horrible mistake, I needed to have been more definitive and given greater clarity to why I left. I think some people thought that I left because I felt there was some racial overtone. And I've tried over the years to go back and correct that and make people understand it didn't have anything to do with race. It was one of those things that I can't even apply logic to, because if I could live in Pullman for 11 years, how the hell could I not like living in Iowa City? At least in Iowa City, they had a McDonald's. Hell, the whole time I was in Pullman, we didn't even have a McDonald's to go to. It was just one of those foolish mistakes that I made. I want to tell you something that I don't even think you know. When I was trying to make the decision, the strongest advocate against me leaving Iowa was my son Mark, and he was probably about 12 or 13. And he just argued with me, and I remember one night he broke down crying, and he was saying to me, "Dad, you can't leave, you can't leave." And it was just something I felt I had to do.
But when you leave, sometimes they give you going away presents. You gave them a pretty nice present when you left.
No, we left a team that Tom went over 90 games with, and and probably 7 or 8 of those guys were first round draft choices in the NBA and that.
So it's not like you just took off.
No, I didn't leave the cupboards bare. There's no question about that. It was the toughest decision I made in my coaching career, because it was so hard to face Bump Elliott and tell him that I was going to leave, and he couldn't comprehend it, and I wasn't able to make sense of it for him. And at the beginning, I think he thought it was a ploy to get more money, so they offered me more money. And I told him, Bump, it's not about money. It doesn't have anything to do with that. But as it turned out, and I look back years later, it was a bad mistake. I should have stayed there and finished what I did. I came to do. I should have stayed there with those kids that I recruited and told that I was going to be there. And I think I look back on it now, I just made a selfish decision. And it was a bad decision. I learned from it. It didn't have anything to do with the people in the state, and it doesn't I don't mean to demean USC. It was just something that I think now, I look back on it, I should have been more sensitive to what was a moral obligation I had, and my moral obligation was to those kids.